Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
Our next guest is Roberta Hladek, and she is the co-founder of Energetic Matrix Church of Consciousness, which is known as EMC Square. And I first met the whole organization in a book that was published by Stephen Lewis and Evan Slauson called Sanctuary, The Path to Consciousness. And that was a very interesting title. Until I read it, I really didn't know what that meant. At first, it seemed religious, but it certainly wasn't. It was really about how, well, I'm actually going to let the person who has been involved for so long with them, who, of course, was a co-founder, Roberta, tell us about that. The name is very unusual. Why was that?
Well, we thought about as we go through life, and when I started working with Stephen, he always had this idea that we would live in this sanctuary and he would be able to do all of his work. And he was kind of like the mad scientist, and he always wanted to be able to conquer all these issues that people had that they would come to him with. And we always called it a sanctuary. And then as we progressed and we were working with this technology and learning all these new frequencies that were helping people, we found that as they cleared out these frequencies that we were finding, their consciousness level would rise along with their life force. So we kind of saw that as it's a sanctuary with the path to higher consciousness. So we called it the path to consciousness.
I see. Yeah. And I think that the whole word consciousness is, years ago, people say, what do you mean consciousness? You know, what is that? So how do you describe understanding, your own consciousness? It's not conscience. It's consciousness.
Right. I see it for myself as being more conscious or being aware of what's around me and aware of where I'm going in my own life and following my own path, because I believe that everybody has a path in life, and we are given this path from, maybe lifetimes, I don't know. But when we are born, there's a path that we're going to be taking, and I sort of think it's kind of predisposed for us, and this is where we're going to go. So as we become more and more conscious or more aware, we see the opportunities that are in front of us, and we tend to make better choices, maybe in our life partners, maybe in our work, whatever it is that we're doing, we just make better choices. And that's kind of the way I feel I've been since I started working with this technology back in 1987. I've become way more aware of what's going on. And when I first started working with this, I was in a corporate environment, and I kind of saw myself on like the treadmill, and I was just going to continually be on this. And it was great because I had a wonderful job. I made great money. I had all the things that my mom thought I should have, and she was thrilled that I was in my little cubby hole, and she didn't have to worry about me. So I had health insurance, I had the 401k, I had all that stuff, retirement. But was I happy? Was I really living up to what my whole reason for being on this planet was? I don't think so. And so the more aware that I got, I found opportunities came forward to me, and one of those opportunities was coming to work with this technology. And it was probably the best decision I ever made. And I remember when I was making that decision, I had no idea about, I wasn't afraid. I just jumped right at it. It wasn't one of those things where I had to sit and think about it, and I was going, oh, God, I don't know if I can do this. It was like a no-brainer to me. I was just right on it and took off with it. And, yeah, we've had some hard years, and things have happened, and you just, you get over those stumbling blocks, and you just keep on moving on. And the more aware that I got, the better choices I've made, even within my organization that I'm in, different choices that I've made for the work that we're doing or the way we're going to do the work. So I think it's nowadays it seems like you were saying before, people would say consciousness. What are you talking about? Nowadays it seems like it's more acceptable, and people understand it, I think, a little bit more than they used to.
Yeah, I think that is true. We have there are all sorts of words, just there are people who actually have written books now about, of course, Wayne Dyer was so big with that whole thing about if you believe it, you'll see it, or, it's a lot more common. And there's so many people who are doing yoga, which I guess is that in a sense, isn't it?
Yes, sort of. Yeah, because yoga does bring you to almost like I guess it's more of a meditative state. I'm trying to think when I haven't done yoga in a while. I've done it, and I should probably get back into it at some point. But it's a really good way to kind of come into yourself and hear yourself. I think in these days, we're going at such a clip that I don't think we're able to, or we forget to just stop and, like they used to say, stop and smell the coffee, stop and smell the, all those kind of things, those
right.
little cliche sentences that we used to use. And I just don't think we stop long enough to kind of listen to what's going on inside us. And I think that's where yoga comes in.
Yeah. There's a mind control that it was a course that I took, which was really fabulous, and that really helped me to get into the alpha state and things like that. Things have changed. But now you do something that most people don't. You use a computer to really see where energy is, and that's really so sophisticated. Why don't you tell people a little bit about that?
Well, what we have is we call it the AIM program, which stands for the All-Inclusive Method. And what that essentially means is that we use a computer to detect imbalances or frequencies within each and every one of us. And when we detect those imbalances, we add them to this computer system in a way that we've devised a way of measuring these frequencies and using a number or an algorithm, if you want to use that, to put into the computer, which then sends these energy frequencies to all of us. So if I check you, Anita, and I find something in you that maybe isn't in the database, because I always measure to see is it in something in the database that's in her, and if it says no, then I have to figure out what that is and add it to the database so that we all can have access to those energies. And sometimes it's very unique to just one or two people. Sometimes it's like something that we can all use, and it's very common when I'm testing. So that's kind of what it is, and it sends these frequencies, this computer does, to these trays that vibrate. And each and every one of us vibrates at our own vibration. It's kind of like people are pretty aware of auras and aura readings, and you can see the colors. And that's kind of the way we're seeing vibrations, not in color, but we're seeing changes in patterns of vibration in each person. So those energies are sent to these trays, which are vibrating, and each and every one of us are vibrating at our own spin, or whatever you want to use for a word to help you understand. But it matches up these vibrations, and it removes the negative vibrations. And then when those vibrations are removed, it raises what we call our life force, or that's kind of like our inner strength to overcome adversities every day, stresses, flus, colds, diseases, what have you. And then as we remove those, it also raises that level of consciousness, so that makes us more aware of what's going on and where we want to be in life, and gives us more of a clear path. I kind of see it as it's kind of like raising the shade on a window, and you can see more clearly than through the blinds.
That's a good way to put it. Wow, wonderful. Well, have you been able to contact people if you've seen things that are irregular? I mean, I don't know how you do that or what you do about that.
Well, what we do is the participants that are on our AIM program, we do what we call rechecks twice a year. We do one at 5 months, and then we do one at 11 months. And when I do the 11th month recheck, if I find something that's not in the database that's unique to them, I go through the whole gamut of things that I need to do to add it to the AIM program, and then I contact the facilitator to let them know. Then they would contact the participant and say, hey, when she was checking you, she found this in you, and this is what it might affect in you. This is maybe how you might be feeling. It'll have because with each frequency we find an emotional component. And it's kind of like when you're not feeling well, if you've got a flu or a cold or whatever, you have an emotion that comes with it. You might feel overwhelmed, or you might get depressed, you might feel melancholy, all those different things. So we try to match up an emotion with it, because a lot of us can understand the emotion sometimes better. And the emotion is the first thing we feel, and then the physical comes after that.
Well, when I first joined, my husband and I first joined, there's a life force that you talk about, and it can go up to 100, or can it go higher than 100?
We always thought it could, and I'm sure it can. We've just been working. I haven't seen it go past 100 yet. I'll just say that. I can, check to see if it goes past 100, but 100 seems to be optimum right now. We're still starting out pretty low. Like some people that come on the program, I had this man the other day, and he goes, I thought I was pretty healthy till you gave me my life force. And his facilitator was saying, when he got the life force that said 0.0003, he was shocked. And I said, well, just remind him that life force is going to climb, pretty fast. It's just his will he's overcoming all these things out there, and it's impeding his life force. So once we clear these things out, his life force is going to soar to 100.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very interesting, because I know when I kept asking Stephen when he would be on the radio, I'd say, so what's happened to my life force? He says, well, it's right up there at 100. You're doing well. What causes the life force to go down once it's at 100?
Life force can go down if there's something that the participant is dealing with, such as maybe cancer. Sometimes parasites will bring it down. Different medications will bring it down. And then you're kind of going back and forth. It doesn't plummet. Like a lot of people think, well, when someone passes away, that their life force goes to zero immediately, and it doesn't. Same with when you're dealing with any of these hard things, devastating things, maybe a stroke or cancer, or sometimes even a difficult flu. Your life force might move a few points. Sometimes it'll go down 10 points. Sometimes it'll go down 20, but it fluctuates from time to time. And I think that's true in all of us, that our life force might fluctuate a point or two if we were checking us every single day. Because I think there's things that we're trying to overcome, and we got to remember life force isn't how healthy we are. All that is our inner strength to fight.
Yep, that's well said. One thing I like about talking to you is you are so clear about explaining things. It's amazing. I mean, you really do understand everything. You've been working there for so long, but you are very articulate. And what was your background before you actually came to work there?
I was going to be a nurse. That was my goal when I got out of high school. And I went to a portion of it, and then I realized it wasn't for me. So I went into marketing with the telephone company, which my whole family we're all family of telephone employees. And I worked there until I met Stephen in 1987 after a car accident.
Okay, then that's how it happened.
I kind of come full circle, and came back into the healing arts and went to homeopathy school. Once I got involved with him, then I went back to school and got my degree in homeopathy and herbology.
And so do you live there now? And what, are you living in a house? Are you living you have an office also? What does your company look like?
Well, we have an office. We're in Las Vegas, and we're in the outskirts of Las Vegas. And we have a really nice office, and I've got employees here, and we're doing all the entering and communication work here. And this is also where the trays are. And so we're constantly updating the trays and making sure the trays are working properly. And then I live not far away as the rest of my employees. I live in a home, and I think all of them as well. We live like normal people. We don't live at the Bellagio. A lot of people think we live at the Bellagio and we're sitting by a pool drinking martinis all day, but not so.
Oh, that is not very good. No, I don't think people really understand. No, you do that. So in your moving around, do you think that, I don't know if I asked you this before, is there another book that you have in mind that you could write as a follow-up to this, in a way?
I thought of that, that sometime I might write my own observations of where we've come from and where we're going. And you never know. I haven't really had a time to think about it, but it's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Someday we'll get a book out there for, it might be kind of fun to tell people where we're going, because I know that we lost Stephen last year, and I know a lot of people were worried that we weren't going to be able to continue. But I have been training with him since '87, and I have been finding new frequencies since way before he transitioned. So I had one of the best teachers ever, and he passed the baton to me. So we're still going as we're hedging forward, and we're making great strides. We're doing fabulous, better than ever. We have jumped to another milestone, and we're finding a lot of new things that are really making a difference in people's lives, and that's what we're all about.
Yes, I know you are, and it's great that you have that enthusiasm. So, on a personal level, are you married?
No, I do have a significant other.
Oh, you do? Okay, because we never talked about it. So that's good, because it could get lonesome in Las Vegas.
Yes, it can.
Do you know, I haven't been to Las Vegas for so many years. Since they had the whole new transformation, it must be, I hate to tell you, it could be 35 years.
Wow,
a long time.
Wouldn't even recognize it.
I know. I've seen so many pictures, but that is on my little bucket list. I'm hoping to get there at some point, and I'm looking for a press trip or something to fly there. And they want you to write all about them, but maybe I haven't had any. I don't know why. I got to look for some so I can get there. And then, of course, I would not come there and not visit you. You know that.
I know you have to come. I'd love to see you and meet you in person.
Right. Of course, we will do that. But it's been a wonderful life, and even though I know you miss Stephen terribly and I miss Bill terribly, but we have to figure out what else is going on, right?
Absolutely, and they would want us to. So we, a lot of good things are coming for us, so we just have to be open and just continue on the path. Yeah,
it is a path, and so I look forward, though, to lots of things with this. And I don't know what advice that you could give all of us who are on the AIM program. Is there something we should be doing to enhance what you do? Is there anything there or do we just live the life we live?
Well, I think we all, have some things that we need to do for ourselves. And that's what I always say is, be good to yourself. We only have one of these bodies. So just be good to it and, eat properly and make sure you get some rest and a little bit of exercise. And, those are the self-responsibility kind of things that we need. Because sometimes I've had people say, well, I'm on AIM, so it doesn't really matter. And I'm like, yeah, it still matters. We still need to take care of ourselves, whatever way that is. But I always think, the normal things that everybody tells you: eat properly, get your rest, drink your water, and, you know, do the things for you, maybe meditate, go to church, whatever it takes to get into yourself. And those are always good things. So you can sit and maybe take 10 minutes a day and sit with your coffee or your tea and think about what's going on with you, not about what's on the outside world. And it really makes a difference.
Yeah, I'm so addicted to my email. It's very bad. I have to really do something about that. And I mean, I can't tell you how many hundreds and hundreds I get a day. And
oh, I bet.
Because, you know, I'm like in this business. Everybody wants to know if you want to do this or that. And there are times when I say, okay, I'm not going to do anything for 6 hours. I'm going to work on other things. When I come back, though, it is so overwhelming to go through them.
Yeah.
So I wish there was, well, anyway, that's one thing that I have to work on because I'm sure that's a lot of stress.
Well, yeah, true. And I think what I do is we're not in the office on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So Thursday night, I take my watch off.
Oh,
and
really?
I don't put it back on until Monday morning.
You're kidding.
And that's my big thing, because during the week, I'm, like you are, we're watching the clock. We have to do this at this time, and we're doing that at that time. And on the weekends, I just don't really care what time it is. I just take my watch off, and I have been trying to stay away from the computer and not look at emails and not do any of that, and just kind of get myself away.
That appeals to me a lot, but I can't do that at the moment.
Well, yeah. It kind of, when I started doing that is I go out to Palm Desert, sometimes in California, because I was pretty much raised in California for most of my life, and so I kind of miss it when I'm here in Nevada. But occasionally when I go over there, I don't have access to a computer. I mean, I could go to the library or whatever, but I choose to not have access and do all the things outdoorsy that I don't normally do, and that's my vacation. So I'll go for a weekend, and I just won't listen to the news, watch TV, and I won't use my email, and I don't wear a watch.
Huh.
I've been trying to do that, and it's been really, I've done it like a couple of times now, 3 times, not doing the email and stuff. Not wearing the watch I've done for years, but the rest of it I've just done the last maybe year, and I love it. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it is. That sounds absolutely delightful. Of course, my watch was broken, but I used my computer. I mean, or I used my my phone for my, for my clock. But I think that would be something to look forward to. I can't even do that on Saturday and Sunday, so I need to think about that.
Yeah, you have to.
Well, I do my radio show at 5 on Saturday morning, so that starts
true.
Me. Mm-hmm. But then, of course, I could come home. But then I have so much. I don't know. And even
you get into it. Yeah, I know what you mean.
But I think that if you really decide to do it, you could do it, and I just have to think about that. Maybe in a year I'll think about it. But of course, I have my doggy, and he needs attention. He has to go walking. He wants to be fed. Blah 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 blah. But that's fun things. That's not what you're talking about. You're talking about actual work, aren't you?
Yeah. And there's sometimes when you want to take, do your emails, but I still have my phone with me, and I even try to limit my time on that too. I've been really trying to get away from it and see how I feel, because I don't really think it's healthy for us. Years back, we didn't have all this technology, and I think we were outside more. We were talking with people face to face more instead of texting, and looking people in the eye, like at the grocery store. And if you think about it, I don't know about in Florida, but I know here, a lot of times I go to a grocery store or whatever, and no one looks you in the eye. Nobody says hello. I mean, they're just doing their job. And we've gotten away from that social aspect that I think we all need, and we crave that.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. So now I do a lot of social work, in the sense of being with people, seeing people, not enough, but something. And so I try to be part of other things, but there are times where it's really important just to sit, as you said, sit and be quiet. And I've been trying to eat on the patio more by myself even now, and just sit out there and just look at the water and do what I can do. But it's life. Life calls all the time. Life is a caller.
Yeah, for sure. It is. And sometimes the email, though, it's kind of a friend.
Yeah,
You know?
it's true.
And
it really is.
Sometimes, and so we got to just take it little by little. Maybe just say, I'm only going to work on the emails for an hour today.
Right.
And, sometimes it's hard to go cold turkey, let me tell you.
I know. I'm sure that's true. But I love the fact that you really are protecting so many people, thousands and thousands of people, to keep them well. And, of course, they have to join in. They have to participate. But it is important that you are there for us. And I believe that. And I appreciate that. I really do. And it's time for me to go see Colleen again also.
Oh, good.
Yeah, she keeps
tell her
telling
I
me to
said
come
hi.
see her, right. So
Aw.
anyway, well, thank you. This is a great March, and I hope that you have a nice St. Patty's Day. When is that coming? On the 16th? I forget when.
17th.
17th. Okay.
Yeah, this Friday.
Yeah,
St.
wear
Patrick's
green.
Day. Yeah, you too.
Thank you. All right, it was
All
great
right.
talking to you so much.
It was great talking to you, too.
Okay, so we'll catch you another time, Roberta.
Okay, sounds good.
All right,
Have
bye.
a great day.
Yeah, you too, honey. Bye.
Bye-bye.